Good afternoon and welcome to the King Power Stadium on match day 5 of what's been a fascinating 2024-25 season so far. I'm Chris Slegg and thanks for joining me for live coverage of Leicester City against Everton here on the Barclays Women's Super League YouTube channel. We have quite an afternoon in store here because both these teams are desperate for their first win of the campaign. Leicester's new manager Amandine Mikel and Everton's Brian Sorensen know that if they don't start to get wins under their belts soon, they could find themselves stuck in a relegation battle. Both these teams have collected just 2 points so far and managed to score just once, and Everton's was an own goal. The Merseysiders are rock bottom of the table right now, with Leicester 3 places above them on goal difference alone. Leicester haven't won in the WSL since February when they beat Bristol City 5-2 here. They've also lost a club record 6 home WSL matches in a row since that day. And just one change for both sides. For Leicester, Canada forward Deanne Rose makes her first WSL start of the season in place of Missy Goodwin, who's not involved. Great to see Hannah Kane fit enough to be among the subs. The former Everton forward has been out for nearly a year with the second ACL of her career. For Everton, attacking midfielder Beatrice Sarri comes in for Emma Bissell, who drops to the bench. Summer signing Mel Lawley is among the subs again. The former England international made a real impact last week when she came on and provided the cross that forced West Ham into conceding that own goal equaliser that deflected in off Camilla Saiz. And Megan Finnegan, the captain of Everton, is making her 200th appearance for the club this afternoon. And she will be hoping to lead them to a vital first WSL victory of the season. Sophie Howd, the Leicester captain there. Leicester all in blue. And her manager, Amandine Mikel, saying this week she is convinced they are on the right path, that the win is going to come sooner or later. Has called for the fans to stick behind the team, has thanked them for their support so far. Referee Tom Neild with the coin toss. And there have been positives for these teams. They have solid defences. They've not been blown away in any of the matches. They just haven't been converting their chances. Everton, of course, got that really promising draw with Arsenal a couple of weeks back. Amandine Mikel, the Leicester manager, saying she wants to play attacking football, but she's got to get the basics right at the back. She's got to build on a solid defence. And there are signs that they are getting that right already, as the teams take the knee, highlighting no room for racism in football or society. And it's Everton in their white shirts who are going to get us off and underway here at the King Power. There are rarely goals between these teams, very rarely many goals. One goal has been enough to decide this fixture more often than not. There was a 3-2 thriller a few seasons back in March 2022, but since then, the 4 games since then have all been a 1-0 victory to either of the sides or a goalless draw. And with the form of both teams so far this season, scoring very few but not conceding that many either, we could be in for similar today, but there won't be any shortage, I'm sure, of tension or drama as the offside flag goes up against Ruby Mace, who joined permanently from Manchester City this summer, having spent a spell on loan the season before last and then returned to Manchester City. The Arsenal Academy graduate Ruby Mace. If you don't want to hear the Aston Villa Manchester City score because you may be looking forward to seeing the highlights later, just dim your sound for a second because it does have a bearing on this game. So I will mention the scoreline. And Aston Villa did take a lead against Manchester City this afternoon, but City came back to win that game by 2-1, and that result has actually seen Leicester City move above Aston Villa at kickoff on goal difference. Villa now with a -4 goal difference. City with a -3, and City on the attack here. Deanne Rose calling for it. Is there just a little too much on that pass through? There is, and it goes out of play before she can pull it back. The WSL, as things stand right now at kickoff, Everton bottom, 2 points and a goal difference of -5. Aston Villa having lost 2-1 to Manchester City on 2 points, goal difference of -4. Leicester, 2 points with a goal difference of -3. And West Ham are, as things stand right now, on 3 points, well, of course on 2 points too, ahead of this game. So there's 4 teams all on 2 points, Leicester and Everton among them. And how both of them would love to get their first win of the season this afternoon. And here's Heather Payne for the visitors. In comes the cross, and it's headed away by Keese. Drops to Hayashi, who gets a shot in. First effort of the game from the former West Ham midfielder Honoka Hayashi. Well, she brought it inside so well, and the second touch was a decent one too. Just didn't get the power on the shot. And Janina Leitzig, the Leicester keeper, is able to drop quite comfortably on that. But a decent attacking move from Everton. Leicester did do the league double over Everton last season, winning both fixtures 1-0. They also won in the Continental Cup with a 5-1 win in the final group match back in January. Sam Tierney, Deanne Rose, Shannon O'Brien, Missy Goodwin, Jutta Rantala, the scorers that night. Rantala out injured. Amandine Mikel saying in a press conference this week that looks like being a mid to long-term injury, unfortunately, the Finland international. The club haven't said yet what the nature of that injury is. She was their top scorer last season, Rantala. She scored their only goal in the WSL this season on opening day against Liverpool. So that is a bit of a tricky one, Leicester, to have to get used to her absence. As Sarah Holmgaard can't keep that one in for Everton. Went behind before the Denmark international, called into the Denmark squad this week again, was able to pull the ball back. So many of these players about to disappear on international duty. This the final match before the first international break of the season. Disruption, I'm sure, which no club manager wants, but for the players, exciting times ahead. Of course, the end of this season is Euro 2025 in Switzerland. So many of the qualifying places to be decided via the playoffs, which begin this coming Friday. 2 legs in the first round, and the winners of those 7 ties heading into the second round at the end of November. Here's Deanne Rose of Canada. She's done really well. This is her first WSL start of the season. Still looking for her first WSL goal for Leicester. Was on target a few times with her former club Reading in the WSL. That was her first club in England when she signed her first pro contract, in fact, with them off the back of that Tokyo Olympic gold medal winning performance back in the delayed games of 2021. Holmgaard. For the teams who have qualified automatically, of course, going back to the international window that's about to hit us all, there are friendlies. That includes England, safely through to Euro 2025, and with friendlies to look forward to against Germany on Friday at Wembley, and then on Tuesday against South Africa in Coventry. Leicester have had 7 players called up for the international break and also 5 age group players. A good number from Everton too. Will be heading off on international duty. Shosanot, lovely ball through to Mamiki, who nutmegs the defender and posts it home. What a goal from Yuka Mamiki, a lovely touch and a cool finish. And Leicester score their first goal in the WSL since opening day. It's a nightmare start for Everton, but just the tonic that the Foxes and their manager Amandine Mikel needed was Shosanot did so well. A lovely ball by Shosanot, but Mamiki still has so much work to do. The perfect start for Leicester. As the Japan international scores her first goal in the WSL since the 2-2 draw with Aston Villa back in March. Well, she was among the Leicester players speaking this week about how difficult it's been for the club in front of goal this season, and thanking the fans for their support and saying that their reward would come soon. Well, perhaps no one was expecting it quite so soon as 7 minutes into the game. But in a fixture which so rarely offers goal, we've already had one early in the afternoon. Mamiki loses out to Claire Wheeler, who's off on international duty with Australia. Can Everton find an immediate response? Sarri back to Olesen. Olesen has it once more, feeds Wheeler, who knocks it onto Holmgaard. Sarri makes the run into the area. In comes a deep cross and it's headed away by Takarada. Rose sprinting to get there, but hope is there first for Everton. Olesen. Leicester are leading in a WSL fixture for the first time this season, as something Everton are yet to experience. They find themselves chasing a game again. They managed to fight back for a point last weekend at home to West Ham. Shosanot wins a free kick and a yellow card. Early yellow card is going to be shown here. To Holmgaard. The Danish international into the book in the 11th minute. Wheeler to Sarri. Lovely run from Sarri, but Shosanot almost wins it back. Everton, though, still on the attack. Comes back to Sarri. Oh, lovely footwork from the Greece international, who manages to get the cross in. Well, Sarri certainly showing in these early stages she's worthy of her place in the Everton starting lineup this afternoon. Only Lauren Hemp and Kirsty Hansen coming into this round of fixtures have completed more dribbles than Sarri this season, 15 ahead of this game. She's already completed a couple more in this fixture. Shosanot, who played a key role in that opening game for Leicester with the through ball to Mamiki. Howard goes long to Rose. The flag has gone up, or it may have flicked up and hit Rose's hand. Wheeler. Lovely ball by Wheeler to Sarri, who has been the Everton danger woman in these opening 13 minutes. And are Everton going to win a free kick in a dangerous position? They are, as Chaussonot is guilty of giving the free kick away for the push on Olesen. Olesen called up for the Danish under-23 training camp. She'll be heading off to Turkey. The 19-year-old. Brian Sorensen, Everton's Danish manager, has spoken so highly of her talent, so much potential she seems destined to fulfill. And she stands over the free kick now, does Olesen, and knocks it in towards the far post. Everton keep it alive, and it's a great save by Leipzig from Finnegan. The Leicester keeper, who pulled off a wonder save in the closing seconds last week to preserve a point against Aston Villa, is alert once more as the header came in from Finnegan. Everton not far away from an equaliser. And it has been a good response from the visitors since going behind in the 8th minute to Yuka Mimiki's goal. Trundle's out of play for an Everton throw, which Holmgaard will take. Schnois feeds it through to Hayashi, and Leipzig is alert once more. She timed her slide to perfection. Schnois picking out Hayashi, and it was just a little bit heavy, just a bit above and in advance of Hayashi. But still really good goalkeeping by the German. Tierney. Leicester struggling a little to hold on to the ball since going ahead. And once more it's given away. Finnegan, who was close to that equaliser moments ago on her 200th Everton appearance. Holmgaard feeds it through to Sarri. Howard chases across. And Leicester keep it in play, but at the expense of surrendering possession. Finnegan to Hope, who brings it across the halfway line. Hayashi back to Van Havermaet. Rose to Takarada. Takarada managed to hold on to it and return the ball to Deanne Rose. Amiki, the goal scorer, to Takarada. Sari Keese plays it out to that left-hand flank. Mimiki, lovely ball through by Mimiki. But the chance comes to nothing. As West Ham clear the danger, and it's a Leicester throw. Long searching ball in towards Shosanot. Oh, and it's up and under the bar almost. Courtney Brosnan leaps high to claim. Sarri can't keep the ball in. Leicester have another throw in. This is a little bit better now from the home side, who have been under the cosh a bit since going ahead early on. Mentioned at kickoff how Leicester haven't won in the WSL since beating Bristol City 5-2 here back in February. A run that includes 6 consecutive home defeats in the league. The fans in those stands have waited so long for a victory to celebrate. Still a long way to go, but are they going to get it today? Perfect start for them. Everton's last win came on the final day of last season away to Bristol City as Hongard wins a free kick for Everton. I think Brian Sorensen will be really pleased with the response he's seen from his team since going behind. That will trickle all the way through to Brosnan. Oh, Finnegan's given it away, and it's Ruby Mace. And Mimiki is charging down the middle. But the return from Mace is cleared away from Finnegan. It comes off Lucy Hope and out for a Leicester throw. Leicester not able to capitalise on that opportunity. Howard all the way back to Leipzig. Schnois tries to put her under a little bit of pressure. CJ Botts. Holmgaard with the throw for Everton. Finnegan. And Wheeler with the ball out towards Lucy Hope. Everton patient in their approach. They haven't panicked. They've actually had the greatest share of the ball since going behind. Quarter of the game played. Van Havermaet to Hope. Hope's got a little bit of space to run into down this right-hand channel. And she tries to pick out Schnois. Chaussonot, the young French forward, just 19 years old, got her first WSL start last weekend. Has already got her first Leicester goal in the League Cup, in the 1-1 draw with Bristol City, which Leicester did lose the bonus point penalty shootout in that League Cup group match. CJ Botts. And he's Chaussonot once more. But Holmgaard stands firm for Everton. And Wheeler brings it down the middle. Just has to halt and roll it back to Holmgaard. Olesen. Her fellow Dane. And now it's with Finnegan. Finnegan once more to Hope. Oh, lovely touch again by Sarri, who wins it back off Chaussonot. Sarri has space to run into. Still via tricky Sarri. Will she get the shot away? She tried to flick it up, and Sophie Howard positioned herself really well to get the block in. But Sarri has been quiet for 10 minutes or so after a fine start. Once more, finding a bit of room down this Everton left. She has looked really dangerous in this opening 25 minutes, largely. Just to remind you of the Leicester results so far this season, started with that away 1-1 draw at Liverpool on the opening day when Jutta Rantanen scored what, until Mimiki's efforts early on in this game, remained their only WSL goal of the season. Sarri once more for Everton. She rolls it back. It's now with Finnegan. They followed that up Leicester with a narrow 1-0 home defeat here against Arsenal. Then came that League Cup 1-1 draw with Championship side Bristol City and the penalty shootout defeat. 2-0 home defeat by Crystal Palace at the start of October. I think that was the first really worrying result from a Leicester perspective at home to the newly promoted Crystal Palace. And then last weekend, a goalless draw away to Aston Villa, a side also struggling in these early stages. For Everton, 4-0 defeat away to Brighton on the opening day, 1-0 home defeat to Manchester United, then a 1-1 draw with Championship Newcastle in the League Cup. They did win their bonus point penalty shootout that evening. Then came the goalless draw at the Emirates, really positive point, albeit Arsenal are not looking anything like the side we would expect them to be at the start of this season. And of course, Jonas Eidevall leaving the club. And then last weekend, a draw with West Ham, 1-1 draw. And that's how they found themselves, these two teams at kickoff, on just 2 points. But right now, Leicester moving on to 5 if they can hold on to this win. As mentioned, 1 goal usually enough to win this fixture. Here's Holmgaard for Everton, trying to make sure That isn't the case this afternoon. Still plenty of time to change the outcome. But no Everton player has yet managed to score in the WSL this season. Schnois. Takarada tries to snuff out the danger. And Leicester managed to get it clear to Mamiki. He knocks it off of Van Havermaet and out for the Leicester throw. Everton's only goal scorer this season, Emma Bissell, in that League Cup game. She's on the bench this afternoon. And the Leicester goalkeeper, Janina Leicester, down, as we often see in football these days. As we approach the half-hour mark, and let's have a look at the save which she put in when Olesen swept in this free kick. And it was knocked back into play, headed on, and the shot came in from Schnois, in fact. And it was a really sharp save from Leipzig. She's been a great signing for Leicester since first arriving here midway through 2022-23 season. And here's a look at the goal that separates the teams. Shanna Chaussonot, the 19-year-old France forward, feeding it through to Yuka Mamiki. She knocked it through the legs of Van Havermaet and then swept it home. What a goal from Yuka Mamiki. And that is what separates the teams as we approach the half-hour mark at the King Power Stadium, as the teams get a bit of a drinks break and a chance to have perhaps a tactical reshuffle, while Janina Leicester receives some treatment. And Tom Neal signals that the game will recommence with a Leicester throw. Tierney with the through ball to Rose. And look at Rose just surging onto that. And will she get the low shot in? She does. But Brosnan springs to her left and saves it comfortably. The jet-heeled Rose, you do not want to give her that much space. Quickest player on the pitch, Deanne Rose. Holmgaard wins the free kick, challenged by Chaussonot. It's been an interesting match-up between the pair of them on this Leicester right flank. Holmgaard was booked in the 11th minute for a foul on Chaussonot. Van Havermaet. Hayashi wins it back but knocks it out of play. And it'll be a Leicester throw midway inside their own half, which Courtney Nevin will take. Courtney Nevin starting a second WSL match of the season. It's also come on in two. The Australia fullback. Finnegan to Van Havermaet. Sarri. Sorry, with the cross towards the far post, headed away by Howard. Drops to Rose. Hope puts her under pressure. Rose plays it off of Hope and out for a Leicester throw. It's only the 7th goal Leicester have scored in 13 WSL matches since that 5-2 win against Bristol City here back in February. Amandine Mikel saying this week she felt they played really well in attacking areas in the pre-season tour, but they just haven't managed to start clicking again in the WSL, not helped by this recent injury to Jutta Rantala. Albeit she did play the opening 3 games, hasn't been available since. Chosanot with the ball into the area where CJ Bott tries to rake her left foot through, but was unable to connect. Chosanot with a great opening half hour for Leicester. It comes off Van Havermaet and Everton managed to clear it away for a Leicester throw, which Nevin will take. Howard goes long. It's going to be too much on that for Chosanot, and it'll bounce harmlessly out of play for an Everton throw. Holmgaard to Finnegan. Hayashi to Van Havermaet. And the Belgian knocks it back inside to Finnegan. And Hope looks for the free kick. Nothing given by Tom Neild. Leicester give it away though. It's with Wheeler. Sarri. Wheeler back to Finnegan. She feeds Hope. Hope, short ball to Hayashi. Wheeler to Schnois. Tierney hacks it away, but straight into the path of Wheeler. He finds Holmgaard. Takarada to Bott. Still CJ Bott. He gets away from Holmgaard. And Hayashi did well to get back. And, well, she's won the free kick as Hanoka Hayashi. For a moment, it looked as though Leicester might be in with a chance of a second goal. And that really would put Everton in a very tricky position for a team that's really struggling to find goals. It's vital for them, the visitors, that they don't go in with a half-time deficit any greater than it currently is. Takarada back to Howard. Leipzig launches it, but launches it out of play. Van Havermaet arches one over the top. Olesen tries to win it back off of Mamiki. Everton throw. Wheeler. Given away. But it's back with Finnegan. He finds Hayashi. Hopes in space on the right flank. And has the ball now. And knocks it inside. But it's straight into the arms of Leipzig. Wheeler. Still Claire Wheeler tries to move away from Mace, and she's won Everton a throw, which will be taken by Heather Payne. The Ireland international, in fact, she's going to leave it for Lucy Hope of Scotland. Heads it back to Hope, does Payne, and she knocks in a deep, deep cross, which Tierney heads away. Bounces over the top of Chaussonot though, and Everton come again with Holmgaard. Howard gets the block in. Sarri turns the full 360. Tries to speed away from Chaussonot. Looks to move through the middle of Chaussonot and Howard. And Chaussonot's gone down injured. Play goes on with Takarada for Leicester. Mamiki feeds Rose. Tierney is streaking through the middle. Still Deanne Rose. Can she find Tierney or Mace? Rose is forced a long way back, but Leicester still have the ball. And it's knocked in towards the far post, and it's going to trickle its way out of play for an Everton throw. Chaussonot was able to get up and carry on after that challenge, which left her on the turf for a few seconds. Everton edging their way up this touchline with a second throw. Holmgaard takes it long, too long for Schnois. And it's played back by Keys to Leipzig. Mamiki to Takarada. Finds Rose. Rose crosses the halfway line. She's got Mace ahead of her. Still Rose. Finds Mace. But Van Havermaet's there for Everton and knocks it back to her keeper, Brosnan. Finnegan. Finnegan to Wheeler. Nice ball by Wheeler to Sarri. Sarri curls it out to the right-hand flank. Deep cross in, and Leipzig wasn't taking any chances. Didn't feel she was able to claim it fully, and fingertips it away and out of play for an Everton throw. Holmgaard to take. Mamiki. Back to Howard. Across to Keys. Did really well last week as part of that defensive unit which kept a clean sheet at Aston Villa, and she keeps Julie Thibault out the starting 11 again this afternoon, does the Belgian Sarri Keys. Takarada back to Keith. Van Havermaet knocks it out to Hope. Wheeler to Sarri, who's drifted inside, having largely been out towing this left-hand touchline, this near side. She's drifted further in, looking to cause some trouble now for Everton down the central channel. And Everton do have a free kick. Less than 2 minutes plus added time now at the end of this first half. What a moment this would be if they could force the equaliser in this battle between two struggling teams in the early stages of the campaign. Hayashi to Hope to Payne. You can't get beyond Nevin. Tierney back to Leipzig, but almost loose, almost allowing Sarri in. Throw is taken quickly. And Takarada will bring it away for Leicester. To Bott, back to Howard. Final minute of regulation time in this first half at the King Power. And it'll go all the way through to Brosnan, who has to head it in case it was deemed as a pass back from Hope. Not sure it would have been, but she wasn't taking any risks. Everton throw taken from the, well, in fact, it's the Leicester throw. That's why Tom Neild has blown. I thought for a moment that Everton had taken it from the wrong place. But in fact, it had been given to the home team, who won't exactly hurry to take it. As the fourth official, Stacey Fullix, gets ready to show how much added time there is at the end of this first half. And there's going to be 2 minutes of added time for Leicester to try and defend this one-goal lead and go into the break with an advantage. Howard heads it away, drops to Hayashi. Hayashi's pass is wayward, and Mace picks it up for the hosts. Bott to Tierney. Howard across to Keith. Takarada. Howard long, and there's a push in the back from Finnegan on Tierney, and Leicester have a free kick in the final minute of added time. Leicester with a chance to load that Everton box. It's not been a half packed with opportunities. Is there going to be one right at the end of this first half at the King Power? Courtney Nevin, the Australia international, to knock this in with her left boot. Right arm raised aloft. And in it comes, and headed on and saved comfortably from the Tierney header by Brosnan. And Hope carries it away, but gives it away. It's off Mamiki and out for an Everton throw. Just seconds remaining at the end of this first half. And Tom Neild blows his half-time whistle. And in a battle between two struggling teams, it is Amandine Mikel's Leicester who had the slenderest of leads given to her early on by Yuka Mamiki, the number 29, heading across the touchline there. And that goal at the moment has Amandine Mikel, the new Leicester manager, on course for her first win at the club and her first win in the WSL. Brian Sorensen looking at the ground on the right of the picture there, finding his Everton team struggling once more. They have had the greatest share of possession since going behind. And they certainly have hope of getting something out of this game in the second half. But at half-time, it's Leicester City 1, Everton 0. Welcome back to the King Power, where Everton have made a change at the break as they try and chase down this one-goal Leicester lead. Tony Payne, the summer signing from Sevilla, is on for Heather Payne, hoping to reduce the pain for Everton, who are still seeking their first goal scorer of the season. Their only goal in the WSL was a West Ham own goal. Can Tony Payne, the Nigeria international, get them an equaliser this afternoon? Leicester leading 1-0 at the break. Yuka Mimiki with the 8th minute goal, really well taken by the Japan international, as she latched onto a through ball from the French youngster Shanna Chaussonot, nutmegged Justine van Havermaet and swept the ball beyond Courtney Brosnan to give Leicester the lead. Two teams both seeking their first WSL win of the season. Leicester in the stronger position to get it, leading 1-0 at the break. Really tough start to the season for both these teams. On an injury front too for Everton, of course. 2 ACL injuries sustained in the opening 2 games. Aurora Galli against Brighton on the opening day. Then one of their key summer signings, Inma Gabaro, against Manchester United. Also a long-term hamstring injury for Elisa Stenovic. Not easy for Brian Sorensen to have to contend with all of that at the start of his 3rd season as Everton manager, but he is beginning to feel the pressure now. The flag up here against Schnois. Because as it stands, Everton are going to be heading into the international break, bottom of the table, with just 2 wins from the opening 15 points. Sorry, 2 points from the opening 15 points available. Hope back to Van Havermaet. Holmgaard to Olesen. And Bott gets there for Everton ahead of Sarri, who was Everton's liveliest player in the opening half. Beatrice Sarri back in the starting 11 this afternoon, coming in for Emma Bissell. Emma Bissell on the bench this afternoon. The only Everton goal scorer of the season. Her goal came in the League Cup draw against Newcastle. Tierney back to the Leicester captain, Howard. Van Havermaet out to Hope. Hope looking for Tony Payne. Who arrives here after 6 years in La Liga with Sevilla this summer. American-born Tony Payne, but plays for Nigeria. She started, in fact, that World Cup round of 16 match against England last summer. Everton with a chance here, and it's knocked well up and over the bar as it was knocked into the danger zone. Hope, who started the attack. Schnois with a lovely ball across the top of the 6-yard box. And the upshot of all of that is a Leicester goal kick. But encouraging signs for Brian Sorensen right at the start of this second half. Tony Payne back to Hayashi. Sarri wins Everton a throw. Wheeler, who's knocked over, and Everton have a free kick. Loops in and headed away by Howard. Payne. To Hope. Everton looking good in the early stages of this second half. Pietriki Sarri not far away moments ago, knocking it high over the bar, but here comes Rose for Leicester, and Brosnan gets there at the second attempt. Olesen to Schnois, back to Hayashi. Howard knocks it out of play. It'll be an Everton throw, taken quickly. Mace wins it back off Wheeler, and now it's with Tierney. Rose looking to get there again. Van Havermaet tidies it up and plays it back to Brosnan. Well, after the international break, Leicester will be away to Brighton, who have started the season really well. And Everton, they'll be at home to Chelsea. So two tough fixtures. Here's Schnois again for Everton. Schnois pulls it back and wins the corner. As it goes out of play off Keys, who exchanges a high five with Howard and Nevin. Good defending from the Belgian once more. Everton with a corner, looking to keep the pressure on as they chase an equaliser. Leicester winning both league fixtures against Everton last season by 1-0. That's the score at the moment, but Holmgaard with the corner for the visitors. In it comes, it's headed away at the near post. Drops to Sarri, and Takarada did well to get the block in. Hayashi towards the far post, and it goes over the head of Howard, and Van Havermaet was looking to connect. She looks skywards because she was not far away from doing so. The Belgian. as Leicester make their first change of the afternoon. Janice Kaiman, twice a Champions League winner with Lyon, turned 36 last week. The Belgian international back in the Belgium squad for their upcoming Euro 2025 playoffs. Janice Kaiman on for Ruby Mace. Player with so much experience, she can play pretty much anywhere, Kaiman. Certainly a goal threat too. Got 7 goals in all competitions last season, did Kaiman. Leicester would love another one from her this afternoon to just give themselves a bit of daylight. Kaiman was hoping for the whistle, but it doesn't go, and Olesen picks it up for Everton. Leicester win it back. Chaussonot. Tierney to Kaiman, who's taken up that attacking position down the right-hand side. Tries to find Rose. Couldn't feed the pass through to her. Wheeler. Olesen, whose attempted through ball was blocked by Tierney. Hope. And Hope will get on to the end of this one, and Payne is in acres of space in the area, and Lucy Hope couldn't pick her out because Keith was alert to the danger once more. He got a foot in and knocks it out of play. Tony Payne has made a bit of a difference for Everton since coming on at a break. Played in all 3 of Nigeria's games in Paris at the Olympics this summer. (29 years old now, Tony Payne, the experienced campaigner. New to the WSL, it's her second start since joining for Everton, second league start. CJ Bott for Leicester finds Chaussonot. She returns it to Howard. Bott tried to lay it off to Tierney. Holmgaard with space to run in. 2 down the left-hand side and tries to find Payne. It's just over her head. Hayashi picks it up. Payne to Olesen. Hope. Hope feeds Payne. Payne gets the cross in. Is headed towards the far post. Flicks on. Where Sarri tries to get on the end of it, but Leicester clear. Good spell this from the visitors. Olesen. Sarri takes it beyond Chaussonot, but Bott sweeps it out of play for Leicester. Approaching the hour mark. Everton coming on strong in search of this equaliser. Brian Sorensen getting ready for his second substitution of the afternoon. It looks like Mel Lawley, who came on to great effect last week against West Ham with the cross that forced the equaliser when it flicks up off Camilla Saiz, signed from Liverpool this summer. Payne Payne takes it beyond Howard and wins the corner for Everton. Olesen to take. In it comes from Olesen, and Leipzig punches it away. It's all the way back with Brosnan. Hope to Payne. Keys does really well. Rose. Payne with the touch. Still Tony Payne. Payne with the deep cross, but it's into the arms of Leipzig. Keith finds Rose. He knocks it out to Chaussonot on the far side, as Mel Lawley right in the corner of the technical area, waiting for a chance to go on. The ball hasn't gone out of play since Brian Sorensen readied her to enter the fray, but she will be coming on soon. Olesen. He could well be the player to make way for Mel Lawley. Now it's with Hope. Schneutz to Payne, who just manages to stay onside. Payne. Still Payne. Payne with the cross in. It's trickled across the goal mouth. Holmgard was flying in at the far post. And it was Sarri who was so close to getting onto the end of this ball from Payne. Oh, in fact, I think she got a toe to it, Beatrice Sarri. So close to the Everton equaliser. And there is Mel Lawley on for Caroline Olesen. So the Danish youngster makes way for the experienced WSL veteran campaigner, former Liverpool player Mel Lawley, who forced that equaliser last weekend against West Ham. Former Arsenal, Bristol City, Birmingham, Manchester City player as well, Mel Lawley. With the Leicester physio on here as we approach the midpoints of the second half, and let's remind ourselves of the goal which separates the sides, scored very early on this afternoon. Shanna Chaussonot picked it up in the middle of the park. Lovely pass through to Mamiki. Knocked it through the legs of Van Havermaet and swept it into the corner for Leicester's first WSL goal since the opening day against Liverpool, when the now injured Jutta Rantala scored for them. Much needed goal for Leicester. And Everton, who themselves have only scored once in the WSL, and that was an own goal, now have to get on target this afternoon to get anything from this game, as Shanna Chaussonot 19-year-old French forward rather, France age group player, who has certainly shown what she can do this afternoon, and on the appearances that she has had so far this season. This is her second start. She's also come on in 2 games in the WSL. And it seems like she's possibly not going to be able to continue here. And she is going to have to depart, is Shanna Chaussonot. And the cheers are for the return of Hannah Kane, who's been out for almost a year with the second ACL of her career. Also coming on, Julie Thibault, the centre-back, replacing Sari Takarada.
Being replaced by number 17, Julie Thibault.
Julie Thibault started the first couple of games of the season, has made way for Sari Keese in the centre-back position more recently. She's heading over to the left side of defence, so a change of formation as Sari Takarada, the central midfielder, is replaced by Julie Thibault. And what a week for Hannah Kane, recalled to the Wales squad in midweek. Kaiman through the middle to Kane, who was almost presented with a chance with what would have been her first touch. Kane, of course, a former Everton player. 12 WSL appearances for them across the 2018-19 and 2019-2020 seasons. Hannah Kane before joining Leicester. Hope back to Hayashi. And Hayashi is forced back by Mimiki, all the way back to Brosnan. Finnegan to Van Havermaet. Tierney to Kane. Kane's got a bit of space, tries to find Kaiman, and Kaiman's touch actually took it behind Rose. And a promising counter comes to nothing for the hosts. Bott with the header out of play, taken quickly. Too quickly, really. Everton didn't have the chance to get the necessary numbers forward. Van Havermaet. Hope. To Hayashi. Hayashi, lovely ball to Payne. Payne's got the pace to keep it in. And gets the cross in too. Comes off a Leicester head. And drops to Sari. And the shot eventually is well over the bar. From Schnois. Who wrapped her left boot round it as it came back to her. But got her foot well under it and into the stands behind Leipzig's goal. The Dutch international called into the Netherlands squad again this week as she's just down on her haunches, rubbing that left shin. this Everton's best moment of the half. Tony Payne, the half-time substitute, took on Nevin, got the ball in, and Sarri got her toes to it, but couldn't hit the target, and it flicked wide of that far post. Schnoy's about to head off on international duty with the Netherlands. They've got friendlies against Indonesia and Denmark. They have safely qualified. The Euro 2017 champions for Euro 2025. And they will be hoping she'll be very much part of the action in the international break. She looks like she's walking freely. Rose does really well to take it beyond Wheeler. Still Deanne Rose. Rose has got Kyman ahead of her. She's knocked over. No foul, says the referee. Rather surprisingly. And this time there is a foul by Leicester. Mamiki on Van Havermaet, and Mamiki goes into the book. The Leicester goal scorer. For the foul on Everton centre-back Justine Van Havermaet. And this was Wheeler on Deanne Rose, which went unpunished by the referee. Van Havermaet to Hope. Payne. Still Payne, under pressure from two Leicester players, but holds on to it and wins Everton a throw. A little less now than 20 minutes plus added time for Everton to try and find an equaliser, which would bring them only their third point of the season. Both these teams kicked off still in search of their first WSL win, after 2 defeats and 2 draws apiece from their opening 4. Leicester, at the moment, on course to get it. On course to head into the international break with a real positive. And on course here, perhaps, for a second goal of the afternoon. Is it going to be so? And it's into the arms of Brosnan. Again, a promising opportunity comes to naught for the hosts. As Hannah Kane's shot was too close to Brosnan, and she tries to feed Kyman through there. Well, what a dream return that would have been for Hannah Kane. Hayashi for Everton. Van Havermaet. You feel like a second goal for Leicester would kill it. There's still time in this game, but Everton, such has been the struggle for goals by both these teams really, but more so by Everton. Just a reminder, they haven't had a player score for them in the WSL this season. Their only goal so far from the 4 games played, a West Ham own goal last weekend. Wheeler. Holmgaard. Finnegan to Van Havermaet. Hayashi. Still Everton have the ball. It's now with Hope. Hope to Payne. Payne back to Hope. Thibault with the challenge. Fair challenge, says the referee. And it's with Kyman. Leicester on the counter now. But Finnegan picks it up for Everton and finds Payne. Botts gets there for Leicester and just keeps it in, knocks it out of play for the Everton throw. Wheeler. Van Havermaet. Of course, these two among 4 teams who came into this round of fixtures, match day 5, still without a win. The other 2 had really tough fixtures. I won't give away the score from earlier today for those who want to watch the highlights, but Aston Villa heading to Manchester City, an away fixture against Manchester City. West Ham in action right now against Arsenal. So Leicester and Everton know that this is a game really they have to win. Leicester currently winning it. And another change for the hosts as Asmita Ale comes on for Deanne Rose. Rose, who started her first WSL fixture of the season this afternoon, the Canada international. Asmita Ale, who spent the end of last season on loan here from Tottenham and signed permanently in the summer. Started out at Aston Villa, of course. Has played for England under 23s. So Asmita Ale, with her second appearance from the bench in the WSL of the season, came on last weekend in that goalless draw at Villa Park. Van Havermaet, short to Hope. Hope to Finnegan on her 200th Everton appearance, the Toffees captain. Feeds it to Payne, who's switched flanks. Payne tries to take it past Bott. Still Tony Payne. Hope. Short to Van Havermaet. Finnegan. Everton pushing Leicester right back here. Deep into their own territory. But Van Havermaet retreats to try and free up space. Finds Wheeler. Wheeler to Hayashi. Sarri. Beatrice Sarri. Oh, and it's just gone out of play. Real frustration. Just for a moment, it looked like she'd worked herself into acres of space from which to deliver the ball into the box. But it's gone out of play for a Leicester throw, which Bott will take. Bott with the free kick for Leicester. given away though. And Payne picks it up for the visitors. Van Havermaet. Everton having all the ball at the moment. This could be a long 11 minutes plus added time for Leicester, looking to protect this slenderest of leads to bring them the most vital of 3 points after a really difficult start to the season. Sarri takes it away from Tierney and feeds it out to Holmgart, who wins Everton a throw. Finnegan to Sarri. Sarri tried to find Payne, but it's gone to the feet of Bott, who knocks it back to Tierney, who was trying to find Kane but knocks it out of play for an Everton throw. Leicester content, it seems, to let Everton have the ball. They've got the confidence, the belief that they have the defensive shape. Those were positives that Amandine Mikel took from last week's goalless draw at Villa Park. She said in the week she needs to get those foundations, defensive foundations, right first before she can start to play the sort of attacking football she wants to play. Payne does really well. Tony Payne, still Tony Payne. And she wins Everton a free kick. Mamiki just courts her. Mamiki on a booking, of course, has got to be careful. The Leicester goal scorer. Holmgard prepares to take this free kick into the final 10 of the regulation 90. Time running out for Everton. But they're having all of the ball at the moment. And it comes from Holmgard, headed away. Hayashi on the chase, gets there first ahead of Ale. Flicks up off of Mamiki, and Hope picks it up. Lucy Hope with a low ball in. Holmgard with the shot, hits the back of Schnois and drops to Payne. Everton have got bodies in that box. In comes the cross. Free kick given for a foul by Van Havermaet. Mamiki down with cramp, it would appear. Well, there'll be a few nerves, no doubt, in that Leicester camp right now. So close now, edging towards a vital first win of the season, a vital first win in the WSL since February, a result that will see them end a 6-game home losing streak, an unwanted club record losing streak in the top flight at home. A win that would be Amandine Mikel's first since becoming Leicester boss. All of that on the line in this final 6 minutes or so plus added time. And the pressure will begin to grow on Brian Sorensen if his Everton side head into this international break with just 2 points to show from the first 15 on offer and still rock bottom of the WSL. Corner for Everton. High and hanging towards the head of Van Havermaet. But Leicester gets there, climbs highest, the Leicester keeper, and does really well to claim it. Nevin. Ale. Lovely return ball from Asmita Ale to Nevin. Nevin takes it through the legs of Lawley and gets the cross in, and it's headed away. Dropped to Ale, and she can only knock it behind for the Everton goal kick. And Leicester keeping a little bit of pressure on it. Everton making a change. Fiatriki Sari, who's been really lively this afternoon, makes way for Emma Bissell, scorer, or the only Everton scorer this season in the League Cup. She was on target in a 1-1 draw against Championship side Newcastle. And she's got 5 minutes, well, 4 minutes plus added time to make an impact this afternoon. Bissell, who came through at the Manchester City Academy, still only 22. Got her first WSL goal on the final day of last season in that 4-0 win at Bristol City. She's unable to keep that in play. And it's behind for the Leicester goal kick. 3 minutes plus added time to play. Leicester edging closer to their first win of the season. Won both these meetings against Everton in the league last season 1-0. Are they on course for another win by that scoreline? Or can Kaiman? Well, she knocks it into Ale, and Ale skied it over the bar. Asmita Ale not used to finding herself in that sort of position, it has to be said. If it had been the other way round, Ale to Kaiman, you might have expected a different outcome. Lovely ball from Janice Kaiman, and Ale was unable to keep the shot down. And that would surely have killed the game off and brought the 3 points to Leicester. But it remains in the balance. Hayashi with the throw to Hope. Can she give Everton hope with the cross in? No, she can't, because it's straight into the arms of Leipzig. Bissell, who's just come on, finds Payne, a half-time substitute. He's had a decent second half for Everton, and she knocks the ball into the danger zone, and it's cleared by Thibault. Oh, so close, Everton, to a last-gasp equaliser. Well, it's off the back of Kane, and Everton come again with Holmgaard. Holmgaard launches it long and it's over the head of Van Havermaet. Hayashi with the throw. Hope to Hayashi. Wheeler. Finnegan. Holmgaard. Final minute plus added time to play. Wheeler takes it beyond Mamiki, who's gone down. Wheeler to Payne. Payne hangs the cross up and it's headed down and wide by Van Havermaet. Oh, head in her hands. She knows she should have hit the target. Wheeler with the perfectly weighted pass, allowing Payne to hang it up on the edge of that 6-yard box. And Van Havermaet couldn't direct the header goalwards. And is that going to be the last chance for Everton? Well, with 7 minutes, you'd imagine not. 7 minutes of added time. With Mamiki down here, the scorer of the only goal we've seen this afternoon, way back in the 8th minute, Yuka Mamiki. But the fourth officials board indicating 7 minutes gives Everton real hope that there is still time. Brian Sorensen there on the edge of his technical area, waving his team forward, waving his players into position. A man who will be feeling the heat of this really tricky start to the season. Payne can't work her way beyond that Everton backline on this occasion, but there is going to be a free kick. Well, it's gone Leicester's way. There'll be a bit more added time for the Mamiki injury, so you'd be expecting 7.5, 8 minutes perhaps. But it's a Leicester free kick as Tierney is knocked over by Holmgaard. Well, it was indeed Tierney who's holding the back of her neck, who was knocked to the turf. Kane, who will take this free kick. Nevin alongside her. Nevin all the way through, drops to Ale. Ale back to Keith. Kyman hangs it up towards Tierney. Everton managed to clear it away. Bots with the throw to Mamiki. Another Leicester throw as the hosts eke up valuable seconds and edge ever closer to this crucial first win of the season. Kane trying to hold it in the corner. Bot now doing likewise, but it's gone behind for an Everton goal kick. Brosnan scrambling to take this goal kick as quickly as possible. Hope, but it's won back by Ale, who did really well, and the shot is hooked well wide by Mamiki. Holmgard launches it down the centre of the pitch, headed away by Howard. Game really stretched now, as you would imagine, as Everton throw everything forward in search of a last gasp equaliser. It's going to leave the chance for Leicester to get a goal on the break. High cross towards the back post, where Payne was charging in and volleys it wide. Well, Everton have had their chances this afternoon, but they just can't convert. It's been the story of their season. Lawley with a deep, deep cross. And Payne just couldn't keep the shots on target. She's offered plenty for Everton since coming on, but she would have liked to have done better there with that chance. Are Leicester going to be able to kill off the game now? And the shot comes in again. It's too close to Courtney Brosnan. Kane with the effort. Bot off of Payne and behind for a Leicester throw. Free kick to Leicester for the foul by Bissell on Tierney. Well, in fact, it's a throw, which Bot will take. To Mamiki. Brian Sorensen desperate for the throw to be given in Everton's favour. Still appealing with the referee, but it's a Leicester throw. Bot picks out Tierney. Tierney into the corner again to eat away a few more of those seconds. Everton goal kick. 30 seconds of the minimum 7 minutes added remaining. There might be a little bit more. Leicester so close now to a first win of the season. And a result that's going to leave Everton still searching for theirs. Kane carries it into the corner. Holmgard tries to win it back off her. And Leicester have the throw. Really frustrating for Everton. It's the last place they want to see the ball, with more than the 7 minutes played now. And Leicester will just be looking to keep the ball in this area of the pitch until that final whistle blows. And that final whistle does blow, and Leicester end a club record 6-game home losing streak in the WSL. They end a run of 12 games without a win in the WSL, and they bring that woman, Amandine Mikel, her first win in English football, her first win in the WSL, and they heap the pressure on Brian Sorensen. He's smiling there, but he knows that this has been a really difficult start to the season for his Everton side, and they head into the international break with just 2 points from the first 5 games played. For Leicester, though, joy of joys. It was tight, it was frantic, it was fraught, but Yuka Mamiki's goal way back in the 8th minute has been enough to separate the teams at the King Power this afternoon, where it has finished Leicester City 1, Everton 0.